And then we have a cute little Pikachu. Origami Pikachu made out of origami triangles. Cute little tail. Little red cheeks.
Making the cheeky thing. Yeah.
It is summer and it's snowing down the koala. So now it's time to make the Pikachu. The Origami 3D Pikachu with all these different triangles. We have 1 pink, 2 black, 8 red, 9 brown, and a lot of yellow. Let's make it.
Let's make it.
So first thing is, after you make them all, is put these 3 yellow pieces together.
In this sequence. So the right tab goes into the left key, into the left hole. Then on the next one, the right tab goes into the left hole. And so the way it should stack up is that it should be stacking up and to the right. So a rightwards diagonal.
So you do that 14 times with 3 different yellows. So you grab this one, you put the right in the left. And you do the same for the next one. It's like a little foot. Little animal foot.
And as you put it in, it should slowly start to form a circle. It's not starting to form a circle, then something's going wrong.
So to join these units together, you need to take the 2 prongs over here and place them inside these 2 free spaces that haven't had any paper inserted into them. And you follow that pattern with the next lot. Take the 2 prongs on the left, the 2 free spaces here, they're on the right hand side by the way if you're wondering. Place them in. And you do this process 14 times. And you can see as it starts to bunch up, it starts to slowly form a circular shape. Be careful not to lose where you're at, because if you lose your location, you're going to lose count, and it's going to make it really hard to do this. And then you just keep following the pattern. As you can see again, it is starting to really curve out. So you've got to be careful that they all stay together. To do this, I sort of keep them bunched up here in my hand like this until it's ready to go. So then that way it holds its shape, like this. So you take these two prongs here that you started on and you join them by placing them in the exposed holes that are here. One there. One there. And that is your base, that's your loop. Now, do double check that all the pieces are inserted nice and tight, so that way it'll actually retain its shape. Because you want it to stay in this sort of like perfect circle situation. But yeah, that's how you make the base. So you have to remove 4 of these outer pieces, and you'll notice when you remove a piece, just be very careful about what you remove. When you remove a piece, it leaves 2 prongs exposed, right? You replace that piece, the 2 that you just exposed, with a piece of brown. Got to be very careful here and very gentle. Gently, gently is the only game here. Insert the 2 there, and then you have to do it for 3 more. So you need to do this for 4 bits. So you very gently remove a section and replace it with brown.
And that's going to be the back of him.
Mm-hmm. So now you need to add 2 more rows using these. So this is the base and you start building it to the outside. So just for reference, you're trying to build them on off, sort of like off things. So rather than putting it on the same spikes, it should be on neighboring spikes, which will help give the entire piece strength. So see how that goes on top of there? And then you just keep adding layers. So we got to do this for 1 round. And then we'll do it for a second. Make sure you place it using the off axis, because if you don't, then it's kind of hard for the shape to sort of hold. And I know it looks like from the top you're covering the tail, but the thing is when you're covering the stripe, but when you look from the bottom you can really clearly see it. So don't worry too much about that. Just remember to be patient. Some pieces will obviously be harder to join together than others. So something you may want to do when you're doing this is to make sure you're actually bracing everything around a finger or a circular object like a texture or something like that. I find that you're less likely to have bits slip out when you build it this way. Just make sure you have everything you need already prepared beforehand, because you are going to be spending quite a bit of time with your finger like this. So I've done one layer already, as you can see here. Alright, you can see there, built a layer. So now I need to build another layer, and it's similar to the first, where you just find the 2 points that were not joined up before and join them. Now the more you do this, the more you're actually going to offer sort of like backing and strength to the object. So just really make sure you know where you're going and you're aiming for binding things together that weren't bound together before. That's how you build the layers. You're picking like the in-between triangles, if that makes sense. And we're just going to keep building this second layer. Now obviously it's going to get pretty tough, but you do hold strong, you will get there. Even if you have to sort of like wedge one side in and then sort of pull it over, wedge the other side, that's fine. Doesn't matter how it happens, it matters that it happens. So you can see you start joining stuff together. Just a little bit of patience, you'll find what works for you. Just keep it secure, because otherwise it will fall apart on you. So if you just keep working it, it'll work out for you. And then, hey presto, you've got 2 layers so far. So well done you. Just remember to tighten everything up. So remember how before you removed 4 pieces, you're going to remove 4 pieces again, and they're going to be the ones that line up with the brown. So look for your brown bits and make sure they line up there. I highly recommend doing this one at a time so you don't lose your place. This kind of build, it can be pretty easy to lose where you're actually meant to be. So now you can already see I'm starting to get that stripe effect going. And see how they're all lined up there. You can actually see the stripes working their way out. If I show you one underneath, you can see the stripes like that. How good's that? And now you're going to add another row of yellow. You got to keep in mind this sort of central shape here, because that's what keeps the whole thing balanced. But now we've got the next layer. It's looking good so far. Keep everything nice and tight. I recommend leaving it this way so that gravity can hold it mostly together for you. So now what you want to do is you can just flex it in a little bit. Double check for any stragglers. Can't have that. Just so it starts to sort of come a bit upwards. Because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add another row, but this time the piece is going to be facing the other way. So every single time we've put it in like this, right? where we've sort of got our smoother side where you can't see the folds facing this way. What we're going to do now is we're going to flip it so it's facing this way. And remember to keep in mind, it's the off. So you don't want to be doing it on something. So it shouldn't just stack straight on top. It should join two pieces together as you're doing it. Also, with everything this way, it makes it a lot easier to see where you're up to, because you can just look at, well, what are the bits that are looking the right way at me, and if they're looking the right way, then technically it's the wrong way. So now we're going to add 3 more rows, but instead of doing them backwards, we are going to do them forwards. So we're going to put it back the right way around, which will help keep these pieces together. And we just got to put one more row on, but you can see that it's sort of starting to take shape, like the back. And you can see it's all starting to sort of bend upward. Because when you're binding this stuff, not only are you sort of like bringing the triangles together, but as you can see, it's sort of like making the shape bend back upward. So it sort of like flares out, then you flip it, then it goes back in. This, of course, on this little last section, that it's trying to be cheeky and let bits pop out. Don't let it, you need this shape to hold firm. Okay, so now you see I've got some red triangles here, and the reason we've got the red triangles is because we need to do Pikachu's red cheeks. So to do that, we need to find our brown stripes, because that's our reference point, so we know this is the back. So if we look carefully, I'm just trying to be very gentle here. Here's our piece. We're going to go 3 diagonally up and to the left. 1, 2, 3. Now you'll see here there's like 3 pieces like this. We're actually going to replace these 3 pieces. So you're going to very gently remove them, and you're going to replace them with red. Now obviously, because you're messing about with the design here, you need to be very careful that you're not going to accidentally make anything else sort of slip out. There's one red. And now the next reds are going to join some yellow bits back together like this. So it sort of like combines. when you finish doing this step, you should also double check that all of your others haven't gone out of place. So the only thing that should be missing is that V that you removed. So I'm going to put another red piece in here, combining the red and the yellow. And then we're going to put a red piece on top that combines all the red pieces together. Just like so. So we need the 4 pieces in the middle here, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we need to add a mouth. Alright, let's chuck a nose in, shall we? So we're gonna go to the center of here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna take 1 and 2 out, and then I've taken the middle one out as well. So we've got this shape sort of free. Now we need this shape free because we're going to wedge this pink piece inside of it. When I say wedge, I mean quite literally we're going to shove it in between. We're going to shove it in between these bits here. So you've got to be careful again because we're still trying to hold the shape of everything else. So keep a nice firm grip. So you're going to shove that in, and you can see it wants to sort of squeeze out. So that's when you've got to use yellow pieces to put it back into place. So the yellow piece will now go on the pink piece and the yellow piece that's next to it. You just got to be careful with this because obviously it sort of like wants to run away. That's why we use the yellow pieces to sort of keep it in place. There's one. These 2. So now we sort of wedge the mouth in. And you got to keep this tight just because you've obviously bent something out of shape by adding the mouth. And now we're going to add the nose. So that requires a black piece. So you get a black piece and put it on these 2 newly formed yellow pieces here. And so now what you've done is you've put a mouth and a nose in, as you can see. You then fill these gaps back in that you made with yellow pieces, and so it's sort of like black is now just getting added to it. So it's now part of everything. So now you've put the mouth in, the nose in, which means you can now build the rest of the body. Now, no eyes are actually being added to this because you add the eyes on at the end. And so now what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to burn through a whole heap of these other pieces by adding in 3 rows on top, and that will finish the body and the head. And you got to remember, and this is something that you should be checking, is that you're never putting pieces directly on top of one another. So if your pieces line up directly, then that means you've sort of gone wrong somewhere. They should always be happening as like an offset situation. And that's a thing, that's a mistake that's really hard to come back from, because you've got to sort of know the measurements of everything and know exactly how many you put down. So you're honestly better off just not making the mistake in the first place. And as you can see, the closer you're getting to the top, the harder it is to sort of wedge the pieces in. Which makes sense, right? Because you're tightening up the space between everything. So obviously it's going to naturally want to not get tightened up. So what I'm doing is sort of flaring this out so that it's easier to place on the other pieces. So all I do is you just get a nail in there, or you can get a pencil or a pair of scissors, or as I've shown you before, you can also use just other pieces to do this. You just bend this out a little bit, and then it actually forms a shape that will easily accept everything else. Making the cheeky thing. So after you've added that next row, you are going to add 2 more rows on top of this. You're going to add 2 more rows. But you can see that like it is coming together, and you need those 2 rows to sort of finish the head off. So this is really like the point in time where like last minute adjustments need to be made. And then I wouldn't even go like turning it at this point, because you need to keep it together. And it'll sort of go together and stay together once you put the next 2 rows on, because then they sort of interlace with each other. But until such a point, make sure you hold on to it. And these 2 rows will make it so tight that it goes up and over the top. And then your head is complete. Well, body and head. So let's give him some arms, some ears, some feet, and a tail. For arms and feet, you just need 2 yellow pieces, 1 for each side. 2 yellow pieces to do the feet. For the tail, you need 3 yellows and a brown. And for the ears, you need 4 yellows and a black each. So we'll start with the trickiest one first, which is the arms. Now I want you to watch this very carefully. okay, I would pretty much copy what I'm doing. Make sure that you're holding one of your triangles like this, and make sure that it opens out this way. So it's opening from right to left. You've got this bottom corner here. You're going to fold that up. Okay, you're creating a crease here because you're going to use it. You unfold that, open this up, and it's developed a crease. Push the crease inwards. And then as you're pushing the crease inwards, fold it back together. So now you get this sort of rectangle situation. Okay. Do the same with the other. Make sure it's opening towards you, right to left. Hold this bottom corner up. Open this. Push that corner back in. And then it creates this. So the point bit is the arm itself. Now to actually put the arm in, let's get our Pikachu. You've got the bottom red here. You're going to go 1, 2 rows below and just push it in. Okay. Same deal with the other side. 1, 2. Push it in. There is a natural gap here for you to put them in. That's why we put it there. So now we've got some arms. Okay, let's make some feet. So to make the feet, what you're going to do is you're taking one of these triangles and you're actually going to really flatten out the bottom side here. Now you saw me widening these out before to help them fit. Okay. Now what you're going to do, if you've got small fingers, you can wrap it around your finger, but I do not, so I'm going to just use a pair of scissors. You're going to open the points. You're going to wrap it around here. So see how I'm like sort of forcing our little pockets open? Force them open a bit more. Push that middle bend in to make it nice and flat. Then grab the 2 points, and if you've got small fingers, you can use your fingers. But again, don't have small fingers. So I'm going to use these scissors to push this flat. And so what you end up with is this flat little bit here. And you've got 2 points that'll get inserted into the Pikachu. And then that's how you make his little feet. So I'll show you again with this piece. Okay. Wrap it around something. Give you a chance to open the 2 little pocket holes up. And to start the process of flattening out the middle. Grab it by here. Insert the scissors, because then that will force it to go nice and flat. And you still got your 2 points. Now to put it in the Pikachu, you just have to look at where you put your arms. 1, 2, 3 diagonal down, and insert it in the space. Same deal over here. 1, 2, 3 diagonal down. And now he's got feet. So they should be on sort of like your second last row.
So we're going to finish off the cute little origami Pikachu with its eyes, the ears, and the tail.
Okay, let's make a tail. So what you do is you grab your normal pieces, see how they line up, like this. What we're actually going to do is we're going to reverse it. So if I'm looking at them this way, we're going to take this one, flip it, and place it in the pockets. Then flip the whole thing over. Insert this upside down. And so what it's going to do, if you have a look at it when it's finished, is force a zigzag shape. Now you've got to attach it to this base tail. To do that, we can see that we've got our pockets here, okay, but it needs to be more of a point. So you're going to unfold it. You're going to fold in, so you've still got the pocket here. You must have the pocket or this doesn't work, okay? And then fold it back up, and you'll see it's now formed a point with an insertion point. So you open up the pockets a bit to allow you to stick these 2 points in. Now you've got his tail with a point that you can stick in the Pikachu. Okay, let's build some ears. Obviously, I have 2 sets of what I need. 4 yellows, 2 blacks. So 4 yellows and a black per ear. And the ears are actually the simplest part. You're just going for height here. So you're just going to insert the pieces directly behind one another. I know that's literally what we've been trying to avoid this entire build. But this time we actually want to do it, because it's going to provide a nice straight line for our ears to go on. A nice straight line here. Line them up. Lovely. And then place the black on top. Also gives the added benefit of looking a little bit fatter because you keep inserting all these pieces into one another. Same thing. Stack it. Stack it. Make sure the pockets are out. Stack it. And black on top. Ears.
Yeah, we're going to put the ears on. And then we have a cute little Pikachu. Origami Pikachu made out of origami triangles. Cute little tail. Little red cheeks.
angel season. So reach for the stars, shine so bright.